Cisco Stealthwatch Cloud, SolarWinds, the Sunburst Backdoor. All right, we're going to use Stealthwatch Cloud here to monitor command and control IP. So here's a list. I'll put the link in the comments section, but you can see the format's not great. So what I've done is I've built out a script where I can go pull down this data, parse it, not only use it for Stealthwatch Cloud to insert it, but also use it in testing. So I'm going to go and do a wget. I'm going to pull that file down. I'm going to get the first field in that file, which is the IP address, and then I'm going to save it to the Sunburst IPs. Okay, that's just a list. And then what I'm going to do is there is a line in that file that has IP address still. So I'm going to get rid of that. So that's where sed comes in. I'm going to get rid of that. And then finally, what I want to do is make a copy of that file. I want it a copy with no subnets, because what I have to do to get it ready for Stealthwatch Cloud is add a (32) to the end of every one of those IPs. And so that's good for Stealthwatch Cloud, not great if I want to do a ping or a wget. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with sed again. I'm going to append that (32) to the Sunburst IPs list. Once that's done, what's going to happen is I'm going to enter that in Stealthwatch Cloud, but then I could carry forward to run a script, right? And so I can test to make sure my alerting is working, right? And so I've got an IP list here that I'm doing a ping with against that no subnets list. And then I can do a wget against it as well. And then finally, if I want to do both, right, do a ping and a wget. And again, I can test this against multiple different tools, right? But in this case, I'm using direct IP, right? So I'll go ahead and run that script. And that's it, right? I canceled out because I'm not doing any ping at this point, because I still need to go ahead and make that IP watch list in Stealthwatch. So I need these IPs. So here's that list, and you can see that (32) has been added. So that's perfect for Stealthwatch Cloud. And then if I want to do testing, I still have that original list, right? And I can, again, just parse that and do a ping request, as simple as that. Okay, so now we have this list. I've already got it copied over. And so what we want to do is go into entity groups, and we're going to create two entity groups. One is going to be for the Sunburst command and control servers. And that's what we're doing here. And we're going to go to CIDRs, and we're going to browse to that file, right? And here's that file that I created in Kali. And you can see the (32). And I'll go ahead and open that and upload. And this takes a little bit, not very long, again, depending on the list. And you can see there's 819 results. So I'll just quickly check here, and you can see I have 819 in my file. So everything got copied over, and I'll go ahead and hit done. And now I have this entity group. Now I'm going to create another one. This may already be done if you're using Stealthwatch Cloud, but I'm going to call it internal hosts. And I'm just going to pick subnets here, right? So I'm going to pick the internal ones. Obviously, you'd be very specific to what you have in your organization, or you should. And go ahead and add those and click done. So now I've got two entity groups. And now what I'm going to do is go to alerts and watch lists. And I'm going to go into internal connection watch list, and I'm going to create a new watch list. And basically what this is going to do, we're going to give it a name here, but basically what this is going to do is going to allow me to look at anything on the inside in that entity group, right? So we use entity group, any IP from internal hosts, right? That is going to a destination to the Sunburst command and control servers. I want an alert. Now, again, this is, just giving you visibility. It's not blocking anything, right? Hopefully you have got controls in other areas, but you're going to be able to find out or determine hosts that may be compromised in the environment still, right? And still trying to communicate with those C2s. So I'm going to run this script again. Yes, it's going to go and parse those files, but you can see how quick that's pretty quick there. And now I'm doing that ping, right? And so I'm just trying to create some noise to see if the alarms or alert gets triggered, right, based on that watch list. And for fun, I'll go ahead and I'll do wget as well, just to show you could use that. And again, you can use that to test other tools as well, right? Obviously, this is going to take some time to finish. So let's jump back to dashboard here in Stealthwatch Cloud, and we can see one alert, and that was already there because I did run this test, but you'll end up starting to get these alerts. And so let's pivot into one of these alerts, and we can see internal connection watch list hit, and saying to IP address that shouldn't be hit were hit against or matched against this, and you can see it's an open ticket, and I can assign someone or myself to it. And you can see the list of IPs here, right? And you can see there's a lot, and I can pivot into them. And from here, you know, I get visibility into the protocol that was used, the connections, the IPs, etc., right? The geolocation. I can also pivot, right? Add it to a watch list, do investigations in Talos as an example from here. So pretty easy way of doing that. If I grab an IP from that list, say I didn't have a watch list, obviously this is tedious, but if I'm looking for something very specific, I can very quickly come into investigate. I can go by IP address, pick my time frame, go ahead and update, and I can see that I do see that IP and you know, number of connections, etc. From here, again, if I want to pivot into session traffic, I can do that. And so I can see that, you know, ICMP was certainly used here, and there's multiple connections. And quickly, here is an example of an alert. Again, a very easy way to get visibility into the environment and ultimately understand whether or not you have the SolarWinds supply chain compromise.